Oh my god, what is this guys? What's going on? Hello friends, this is Kankicks here from MixedUp. For anyone who was wondering what is happening, well, Bastion just received significant changes and social media and forums are riling up with tweets, posts and comments about Bastion being way too strong. But is he? Or are we experiencing what I call hero OP fallacy? Before we discuss about Bastion, let's just look back and see what happened with Symmetra. Remember when we were complaining about the fact that Symmetra is just way too weak, that she is not viable enough and how she was mostly being used on defense? Well, guess what? It was during that exact time that there were players absolutely wrecking with her, and not just on defense, but also on attack. The gameplay footage that you're seeing right here is actually way before the time that Symmetra received her rework. Though I'm by no means the best Symmetra player, but I still used to get decent value out of her. And players who were maining Symmetra and were playing her at the top level competitive play were always a pain to deal with. Well, that's because these players took the effort to learn how to work around Symmetra's weaknesses and knew how to harness her strengths to get the maximum value out of her. But for most players, Symmetra just had way too many weaknesses or quote-unquote counters that her viability had a big question mark. Not that there's something wrong with that. We as players and human beings are wired to work in absolute certainty. We hate question marks and avoid uncertainty. That is the reason why not many Junkrats are seen in high levels of comp play. But the people who do master him know how to work around his unpredictability. They know how to use his bombs in combo with his mines to get the most out of his burst damage. Before the rework, Symmetra no doubt needed a lot of work to get the most value out of her. But that did not stop some players from maining her. I mean, even at that time, nano boosted Symmetra was a force to be reckoned with. And so, when Symmetra changes were dropped, players who had given up on her started to get value out of her. And players who did take the time and effort to main her started to destroy people. You started seeing Symmetras everywhere. She became the hot new thing. She felt overpowered. She could quickly get her turrets up. She even started to solo some tanks. Symmetra mains started to flank teams and wipe out their whole back lines. Players were cheesed on, and Symmetra Tourbillon shield armor combo made players rage quit. Forums were littered with complaints. Players felt she was way too strong and were asking for her damage to be nerfed. But then few weeks after, things started to settle down. People started to figure out a way around her. We as humans are brilliant creatures. We have this amazing ability to adapt. Players started to learn how to creatively use the limited resources given to them and very quickly figured out Symmetra's range is quite short. If she flanks and you react slowly, you're going to die. But if you could track her in time, she could be subdued, just like Mio Zarya. Players started becoming more aware of her turrets and found out ways to boost past her kill nest, avoid it entirely or use Winston to destroy it. Teams started to commit resources to find out and get the shield generator down, and Pharah was a great way to outmaneuver her. The water settled down. People started complaining less and less about her. And players agreed that she was not OP but actually viable now. Blizzard did not have to change anything, and right now she is actually in a relatively good place. Now, as we all know, Bastion started off as an absolute nightmare for players. He was the single most irritating hero even above Tourbillon. Bastion could really punish people for bad positioning, but over time people found out how to counter him and punish him for his lack of mobility. Bastion, like Symmetra, became a very situational hero. Though like Symmetra, there was always a niche, the Bastion mains who would swear by him and get the most out of him regardless of the situation. Sometimes you would even see Bastions make big plays and absolutely change the tide of the battle. Even before the Bastion rework went live, people used tactics, element of surprise and mind games to work around Bastion's serious limitations. He was the high risk, high reward hero, and to some extent he still is. It's just been few days that Bastion rework has gone live. Blizzard idea behind Bastion changes were the same as Symmetra, to make him less situational. So like Symmetra, they did not just tweak him, they entirely reworked him. And that is where the main problem lies. Whenever something is changed so drastically, we get uncomfortable. And because we are not gradually acclimatized with it, we tend to think it's the worst thing that could happen to us and reject it. Remember how D.Va was at the top of her game before the armor nerf? And after the changes went live, she saw the sudden drop in her pick rate. Why? Because people like predictability and will always pick a hero that has the least amount of weaknesses to overcome and have the highest chance of winning. With D.Va, you could jump in and flank people without worrying too much about being punished for it. But after the nerf, there's a high chance that if a D.Va jumps in without due diligence, she's going to get punished. So the knee-jerk reaction of players was to, well, just stop playing her. That's not always the best way to approach changes in life. We should give things a chance to play out. If we don't face challenges and try to overcome our weaknesses, we'll never grow, and life will be dull and boring. The key question we should be asking is, if Bastion is more viable now? And the answer is yes. He can deploy to Sentry faster, but to compensate that, he also has increased bullet spread and no headshot damage or crit. He is far more durable, can fire more bullets, and can heal while moving, thus making him more mobile and less situational. The biggest problems that players are having is that Bastion now takes 35% less damage and even can self-repair while taking damage. So in ideal situation, Bastion can survive almost any ultimate, and a nano-boosted Bastion can survive even McCree's Deadeye. But let's be honest, in real-life scenarios, Bastion will not always be at full health, and unlike before, self-repair is limited by the resource meter. Blizzard is listening and addressing these concerns though. They will make incremental nerfs to Bastion, testing it first on PTR. But Blizzard has also made this very clear that vocal consensus does not always represent the actuality. Like most players believe that Mercy is dead, but Blizzard has stated that she in fact is one of the highest picked heroes, and it's not just true in quick play, but also in competitive play right up to Diamond. But we should also not be jumping to conclusions and screaming out that Bastion is overpowered. We should avoid this hero is OP fallacy. Instead, we should give it time and let things play out. Maybe even figure out ways around Bastion's new strengths. It's too early to hard stamp if Bastion is overpowered. Just give it a few more weeks or until another hero gets a buff for a change, and we might just get past it and move on. But if we still feel he's overpowered, then Blizzard will definitely nerf him down to a unicorn pick again. Until then, we should definitely avoid falling into this hero is OP fallacy. Alright friends, that's it. Thank you for watching. This is Kankicks leaving you with the rest of the gameplay. Enjoy.
It's time. Oh, come here! Come get your armor! Thank you! Hold on.
Double kill.
Thanks! Let's do this! Armor here!
Helden sterben nicht.
I am ready. Come here! Great skill. Keep working until the end.
Victory. Play of the game.